Hello and welcome to the Champ.ie podcast. Here's your host, Ronan Groome. I'm just taking over for Barry Doyle this week. Barry has assumed the role of panellist. It's a good swap, I think, Barry moving into the expert role. Are you okay after English King last week? I know you had all your hopes and dreams on that.
Yeah, a bit disappointing, Ronan, have to say. I thought he wasn't going to be out of money, but it was a bit of a strange race, obviously. So no complaints. Look, he wasn't good enough on the day. Obviously, stall one didn't help, but I think he ran his race. That was for sure. Disappointing,
but he lives to fight another day. What about Michael Vince? He had the second Khalifa Sat. Did you have any money on Michael?
No. I didn't. I mean, I just think Emmett McNamara's not had the credit he deserves. I actually joked in a radio interview on Saturday night that he'd been arrested and was up in court on Monday on burglary charges, charged with stealing the Derby. I mean, it was a fantastic ride he gave the horse. And I don't think there's been too much negativity about it for me. You don't win derbies, serpentine or no serpentine, by 5 lengths unless you're good. But there is one thing we should take out of that race for the future. Think back to Ruler of the World as well. Anything Aidan sends to the Derby in cheek pieces, always worth a second look. That's twice the headgear's made the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Aidan O'Brien, Galileo, Epsom. It is the
like you and me, cheek pieces. We go better with our cheek pieces on.
Cheek pieces as well, yeah. So there you go. That's the unstoppable force at Epsom. So Serpentine, impressive enough, I thought, as well. But lads, look, listen, we've got more Group 1 action this weekend. We have the Falmouth at Newmarket tomorrow, and then, of course, the July Cup on the July course at Newmarket on Saturday, of course. Let's kick off with the Duchess of Cambridge Stakes, though. This is Group 2 race for fillies tomorrow, 2:25. Michael, we'll start with you. Dundala is pretty strong at the top of the market. Impressive winner at Royal Ascot. Would you be taking her on here, or how do you feel about the race?
I would. I'd see him back to Michael again. What have I done? Have I upset somebody? I would take her on. I'd take a chance here, because the most important thing is that those of you that were watching the racing at Newmarket on Thursday saw the rain come and the ground's gone soft. Might well dry out by tomorrow by race time to good to soft. But I think that is significant. And although I have a lot of respect for Dandala, I just think that Mr. Murphy might be the one to be on here. This time scale. Rafe Beckett knows the time of day with his 2-year-olds. This is a Qatari horse, won nicely at Newmarket last time. And I will take a chance with time scale to beat the favourite here.
Okay. Could be another one for Qatar Racing having a big season. Barry Doyle, what do you like here?
Yeah, Vince just takes my nap at the weekend on his first go. Look at it. I really like Timescale. The favourite obviously was mighty impressive, wasn't she, at Ascot? I wouldn't be looking too much further than the two at the top of the market here. Certainly Dundela, but I think at the prices, I couldn't help be taken by Timescale. Look, she missed the break on debut. Oisin Murphy missed the break. It was at Newmarket, and obviously she's progressed since, winning a listed and obviously winning at Newmarket next time. But look, she's out of a Jim Bulger mare, actually, Ronan, on Galanta, who was a listed winner. And I think, she was well supported on debut and was obviously expected to go very well. But as Oisin said, it was over 5 furlongs. She missed the kick. He was easy enough on her. And I think stepping up to 6 really did help. And look, she's handled the undulations at Chepstow, the uphill finish, obviously, at Newmarket. As well, and obviously this is going to be a stiffer task on the July course. But listen, for me, I think at the prices, I think I saw 3-1 chalked up. To me, she's very progressive, and I think she will take a bit of beating here.
Okay, 2 strong votes for Timescale to kick us off.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll go on to the Falmouth Stakes Group 1 action tomorrow at the 4:10 for the mares here. Terabellum, I'll just give you a quick run through the odds. Terabellum, strong favourite here, 5-4. One of my favourites, Magic Wand, in at 9-2. One Master, PCB over to ride, One Master for William Haggis. You got Nazif at 6-1, and it's 16-1 bar the top 4 in the market. Mike, if you prefer, where would you be siding with here of these mares? Terabellum obviously sets a fair standard on what she's done so far this season.
Well, she does, but there's inevitably, I think, a Frankie factor in her price. And of course, Frankie riding for Godolphin. I think you rule out the other John Gosden horse at your peril, Nazif. But I thought Magic Wand, Porrig Becky riding in the Eclipse. There wasn't much going on out the back. We were all watching Enable failing to get to Gaiath, weren't we? I remember this horse, went to Flemington and won the McKinnon, travelled the world, comes back home and is 4-1. I think that Magic Wand for me. I have a lot of respect even for Agincourt here. Favourites too short. I'd go Magic Wand to beat the favourite here.
Okay, one for Magic Wand. Barry, what do you like here?
Yeah, I thought, to be honest, she was the favourite. She looked rock solid. I know Mike is saying, she may be a bit short. Might not be backing her. I think she's going to take an awful lot of beating. Listen, she's handled us off at Ascot last time. She's form obviously over further. And look, she should get her day in the sun here. I think she'd be hard to beat. I think Gosden spoke also about how hard she was to get fit after Newmarket on her first start this season. I think back in trip, a stiff mile here is going to suit her. The one I think that may still be progressing is Nazif, obviously a Royal Ascot winner as well. She might be the one to chase her home. I would, if I was to have a bet in the race, it probably would be Nazif, given the fact that Terabellum is probably too short, as Mike said.
Excellent. So Nazif is the kind of bet you're betting on there. One Master is very interesting on the ground. If it does stay soft, I don't know if it will, because the jockey bucket is very interesting. Jason Kiley, who'll be on the. Go on, Barry.
It's a pity we don't have Andrew Blair White on to give his finest French pronunciation there, but
yeah, of course. But
Monsieur Buteau, if I can help you here, of course, has been on board when this horse has won 2 forays at Longchamp.
Yes,
and that's why they've stuck with a tried and tested formula rather than gone British.
For sure, that's what I was. That's the thing. It's just interesting. He's made his way over to Newmarket, but we'll see what happens there. We're going to talk about July Cup now, but before we do, we have a nice little clip that Mike has got with us with Clive Cox. So let's have who obviously trains the favourite Golden Horde. So let's have a listen to that now.
Well, I think it's a proper Group 1. There's a host of horses that I would be respecting. Obviously, Hello Umazane from the Jubilee. There's some very nice horses in there. There's a local horse in Lambourne here, Oxted, that I would give a lot of respect to as well. Roger Teal's horses are running especially well, and Judicial was very good at Newcastle the other day after a very good second at Newmarket previously. And then of course there's Threat, who was a horse that we beat in the Richmond last year, but a very good horse nonetheless that has been exploring slightly longer distances and steps back. So all those horses, it's a very proper Group 1, as it should be, and I would be respecting an awful lot of them. Things went very well at Ascot, as I say. To win the Commonwealth Cup was very special, especially for Sheikh Sultan, who's the owner and has been a wonderful supporter. It's wonderful to win a Group 1 in his colours, and so it was always the plan, and thankfully everything went completely as we saw as well as possible, and so we go forwards here with a run under our belt now. So hopefully he can continue to strive.
4 of the last 5 years, this has been won by a 3-year-old. Do you put that down to weight for age, or do you just feel that this is the 3-year-old's time of year?
It's interesting. I think the weight for age for the right horse is obviously. I don't think it's clearly a formula that works, and it's tried and tested, and I believe in it very much. But as an individual, as I expressed, this fellow is extremely mature and strong. As a 3-year-old, I think he's probably, that extra maturity helped his father, Lethal Force, as a 4-year-old. But he is very mature, and I think with the weight for age allowance, I hope that is going to give him that ability to be a worthy favourite, really, Mike.
And Clive, how much does it help you? Not only, of course, have you done it with Lethal Force, but you did it with a 3-year-old in Harry Angel. So, this is a race that you've got previous in the nicest way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a real pleasure. to hear somebody say that and know that we've won it in the past. But I'd like to think, you know, it's all about being in these right races with the right horses, and I'm just so thrilled that we've got a horse of this caliber to follow in the same footsteps as the likes of Harry Angel and Lethal Force.
To hear that there, Mike. What was it? Is the 3-year-old factor? I guess is significant, as you alluded there in the conversation with Clive. It's Golden Horde is just put together nicely for this race, because obviously his sire won the race for Clive Cox and Adam Kirby before, so it's all lining up nicely. Can you see by him, Mike, or what are you kind of looking that his main danger is?
Yeah, I can see by him. I think he's going to be short, and rightly and deservedly so. Won the Commonwealth Cup, and also, of course, won the Mill Reef as a 2-year-old. But I actually think we've got some half decent sprinters here, and particularly impressive. Hello Youmzain winning at Royal Ascot, but I'm not tipping Hello. Well, I'm tipping Hello Youmzain, but not on the basis of that, but on the basis of last September winning on easy ground the big sprint at Haydock. And I think it could be another one and Kevin Ryan. It's amazing, isn't it? If you look at the runners in this, 3 yards that have got, or 4 yards really, that have got incredible records with sprinters. Clive Cox, Kevin Ryan, Charlie Hills, Richard Hannon, and they've all got leading players in this. I'm Hello Youmzain. I also think it's interesting that they're running threat on the ground that they are. And look at old Sir Dancelot. I mean, he was winning this over 7 furlongs around Goodwood with Monsieur Mosse on board, and he keeps that partnership. But I'm in the Hello Youmzain camp.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think it's interesting that a lot of bookmakers are going bigger Hello Youmzain and Sceptical just on that Ascot form. I know you were a big fan of Sceptical at Ascot, Barry, but how do you kind of see it going this time, the rematch?
I know Frankie was critical of his own ride on Sceptical. For me, there was absolutely no excuses. I think he's going to be better suited by back to 5 furlongs. Obviously, where do you go? Like, obviously, we make a challenge at home here, and Dennis is probably targeting some of the, I suppose, the bigger races. And this may have been the obvious target, or it may have been a target before even he ran at Ascot. So it is interesting, obviously, that he takes up the challenge here. You mentioned Hello Youmzain. Actually, when the race was priced up the night before, actually at Ascot, there was probably still soft in the description. And I know there was plenty of money for him. Obviously, he went and got the job done. Hello Youmzain. And actually, the ground obviously was good on that occasion. But interesting, Mike mentioned about the ground. Probably will be more suitable to Hello Youmzain. Listen, to me, I think it was obviously it was hard not to be impressed with Golden Horde. He had some nice form, obviously, as a 2-year-old. We've mentioned the allowance 2-1 does look a bit skimpy. If he was, I suppose, maybe touching 3-1, 11-4, to me, you'd be a little bit more interested than at 2-1. Sure, probably 2 go well. Sceptical, no excuses. I could not. He's probably going to be banged there, but I could not be backing him, especially with the 6 furlong soft ground on a stiffer finish on the July course. To me, I don't think it's the right option to be backing him here. The interesting one for me, I know Mike mentioned about the ground, but was Tret, because he is coming back significantly in trip. Obviously, he led the trio up to the furlong pole, which at Pinatubo, Palace Pier in the St James's Palace Stakes. So I think that's pretty good. He's interested in coming back in trip. And there was not very much between him and Golden Horde on form from last season. And I think obviously he's only having a second run of the season, so he still can progress. I think he probably shouldn't be 4 times the price of Golden Horde. I think he's a good each-way bet.
Solid there. Good shout for Tret, Richard Hannon and Oisin Murphy. One at a bigger price that we just haven't mentioned yet, I'll give him a quick mention, is Oxted for Roger Teal and young Kieran Fallon. I thought he did it nicely up the rolling mile the last day, and looks like a kind of progressive 4-year-old. I would not be surprised at all if he ran well at a big price. But that's the July Cup to feature. We also have other, obviously, very nice action at Newmarket on Saturday. We'll talk about the Bet365 mile handicap. It's the 150, a mile race for 3-year-olds. Finest sound at the top of the market here for the Simon and Ed Christopher partnership. We've got Eastern World. John Gosling horse. I'm going to struggle to pronounce. Haki. Mike, can you help me out there with that John Gosling horse?
Hakiki
in there at 6-1. Do you like Hakiki, Mike, or is there anything else that is jumping off the page here?
No, I prefer egg and chips. He's 2 from 2, and the problem with these 3-year-old handicaps, particularly obviously because of the delayed start to the season, is trying to work these races out. I mean, he's won 2 from 2. He won an egg and spoon race at Yarmouth, and then he won a 4-9 shot when he won a novice race at Newmarket last time, and now you find him in a handicap, Hakiki. Eastern World's got a few things going for him as well. I mean, he was a decent winner also at Newmarket last time and beat Lowerhead, but again, it was exactly the same story. It was a maiden, and now they're going handicapping. So you're trying to work out what the handicapper is, but unfortunately, the editor of Clairvoyance Monthly is on holiday, and he's the man you really want to be looking at this race. The one I would take a chance with here is the Roger Varian runner, and that is Establish, only because he won a nice race, a novice race at Bath in some style last time. Bath form you don't normally go to town on, but there's some decent form at the back end of last year, and I don't think the handicapper necessarily has been too harsh on him. But the real selection in this race is horse number 12, I Haven't a Clue. Number 13, rather, I Haven't a Clue. This, I think, is probably the hardest race of the day to try and work out.
Here am I looking down the race card for I Haven't a Clue. Yeah, obviously not on the race card. Bit slow on the uptake there. Barry, anything for you here?
Well, I know Alan Doyle, the algorithm.co.uk, new Timeform website, obviously in the UK, had me absolutely convinced that Finest Sound was the biggest certainty of the week at Ascot. Probably he's carrying £7 more here. He didn't get the job done at Ascot. He's more or less the same price as what he was at Ascot, probably a weaker race. To me, he was probably unlucky that day to run into a good one in Calusi. He won't be far away. Again, he's form on soft. At the prices again, I'll take him on with the second favourite. Mike has mentioned him, Eastern World. I think the opening mark of 90 looks pretty fair. He's form tied in with the horse that Mike was tipping up for Royal Ascot, King Leondas, who obviously disappointed, but I think it might be a good maiden that it might prove a good maiden. He's rated 102, King Leondas, so I think he obviously would have stepped forward Eastern World on his third start as well. I thought he showed a good attitude that day at Newmarket over the mile, being by Dubowie as well, probably sure to handle a bit of cut. And at the prices 10-3, I'll take on the favourite with him each way. Protect your stakes.
Lovely stuff. We'll close out this Saturday card with, I guess, a favourite handicap race of a lot of people is the Bunbury Cup, the 410, the 7 furlong handicap. A much more wide open affair, I guess, Mike. The two Mactoum horses at the top of the betting there, Motakayel and Mutamasik. Do you have one here that you like?
Yeah, and of course the other thing you got to remember is this is race 8 of 8, and there's any rain around, it might get a little bit messy, shall we say. I was very taken at Ascot by Sabuska, who won the Hunt Cup consolation race and did it well. And William Knight had the big handicap winner at Newmarket on Thursday. Ocean Murphy isn't a negative in anything, and I think he'll go well. I think he's drawn in stall 4, but this is a race that has got punting and damage or wealth written all over it. But Sabuska for me.
Sabuska at around 12-1 for Mike. Right, we might go around the grounds then, lads. It's obviously another, as the way it is these days, the weekends are action-packed. We've got Group 3 action at Leopardstown. We've got Kilbeggan, the Midlands National tomorrow night. There's more group race action on Dundalk on Saturday. Or on Sunday even. York, is there anything there, Barry, that you'd like to highlight? Maybe one or two that we could look out for at the weekend?
Yeah, Ronan, one of the interesting ones in the Group 3 at Leopardstown this weekend, obviously the Mel Stakes, is Joseph O'Brien's Patrick Sarsfield. He's gone up £23 in total, actually, in the handicap. He comes in here. Interesting. Colin Keane rides the favourite Zabeel Prince for the English Challenger. Roger Varian, but I thought Patrick Sarsfield, he obviously is going to have to improve again. Might have race fitness on his side here, and he obviously likes Leopardstown, and I think he might be able to step up here. And he's probably 3-1. He was interesting. I see Peace Charters entered again at Cork on Sunday in the Brownstown. Disappointing run last weekend. I'm not sure if she's going to be declared. And interesting, Dalvey as well is entered to run in the Ballysacks in Dundalk. He'll have to improve as well. I think there's £10 between him and what's likely to be the favourite. I suppose Irish Action, Kilbeggan tomorrow night. We should probably mention.
Yeah, Midlands National live on RTE too. Have you had a look? Is there anything there that old Yanworth is in there? I guess
he's been jumping fences since. Yeah, but he hasn't. Even though he's in the care of Ender, he's not been the same over fences as he was over hurdles. No. And they'll be thrilled with the field for that race. But the most extraordinary thing is, of course, to see Super Sunday turning up at Kilbeggan. We're just trying to think if it's the best horse ever to have run there. Yet Tiger Roll was on the way up when he won a novice chase there, and that was that. But this is a major coup and an interesting little race for the team at Kilbeggan. And as for what may come out of that race vis-a-vis what the Jigginstown squad is like, I ain't got a clue. But good luck to Paddy Dunnigan and the team at Kilbeggan. It's great getting a horse like Super Sunday. And sadly, of course, it's behind closed doors. And if I might just throw one at the weekend in answer to your question, go on to the 5:15, this Heritage Handicap at Cork on Sunday. I'll have my mind on other things on Sunday because I've got it's German Derby Day. But Bucky Larson has won his last two for Colin Keane and Ger Lyons, and I quite liked his win at Goran last time. He went in my notebook as one to follow. Should be a big field mile handicap. We don't have the draw yet. The draw, I reckon, around a mile at Cork is very, very important.
Yeah, indeed it is.
Go on, Barry, sorry. Just back to the Midlands National. You mentioned Yanworth. Then the Bulger obviously has taken over with Plint, who was a 140 rated over hurdles just about 2.5 years ago. So he's a course winner. He's obviously first reserve here. So just be interesting to see if he gets in, if the money comes for him. That's Plint. He has had a bit of a pipe opener in the Grimes hurdle as well. Finished sixth there at a massive price. But I think at a course in which where he's won before, I'd be interested in him. He's come well down. I think he's rated 127 over fences. So one maybe to keep an eye on if he gets in.
Sure, very good. Kilbeggan, yeah, wish them the best of luck tomorrow with that. Kilbeggan is like the track that I went to when I was very young. I used to go out with my granddad every Friday night. A beautiful, well, not a beautiful course, but a beautiful atmosphere. And I always have nice memories of Kilbeggan. Have you ever been to Kilbeggan, Mike?
Yeah, I actually called a race at Kilbeggan a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It is an extremely welcoming track on a wet evening, unfortunately, the last time I went. But it's in the middle, of course, it's in the Midlands. And everybody's just thinking that was in those days. And in fact, given the fact that Thurles a couple of years ago, and also, of course, dare I say it, Punchestown next September, are going to get the flat out. There's only, I think, Kilbeggan and Tremor now that can say they are out-and-out jump tracks.
Yeah.
So speaking about Kilbeggan, there's a man who listens to the podcast, Mr. Joe Smith, from Dunshaughlin, County Meath. He was looking after horses for George Stanley, who trains just outside Rathoath, and there's a horse called Portrait who went there, lined up, and he was the most fantastic. He was obviously a low grade. He ended up a low grade handicapper. It's funny enough, actually, he went on to beat Special Tiara over hurdles. But this horse made his debut at Kilbeggan, and I always remember the horse was something like 40 to 1. He was bigger on the tote with a few quid on it. He led him to the last and finished third. Jumped like Vatour the same day. I remember turning around that might have been an insult to Vatour. I remember turning around to Joe and said, he is some jumper. He went on, I think Johnny Burke fell off him up the north and went on to he won a big handicap at Listowel. So Joe Smith might be happy that I mentioned that. But yeah, there was a horse called Portrait and was eventually sold to, sorry for my rant now, lads, was eventually sold to America. But yeah, some great memories up in Kilbeggan with a 40-1 horse placed Ronan Groome. Is he gone?
Vegan Memoirs podcast. Fantastic stuff. Right. Anyway, we'll get back to action. Napa next best, lads, for the weekend. Of all the action, your main choice and your possible next best. Mike, we go to you first. What do you like?
Well, I'm going to go for Hello Yumzane in the July Cup. And obviously, I'm in the dark a bit because I'm not quite sure whether he'll be declared. But Bucky, last time he gets a low draw, will take some beating at Cork on Sunday. And I'll also tell you, I'm wrestling with this all weekend. 19 runners in the German Derby on Sunday. 176 runners, 12 races, and only one commentator. Wonderful moon to give Andres Starker is 8th within the race, and Henk Grew is 1st. There you go.
Very nice. So there you go on Sunday at Hamburg. Barry Doyle, what do you like at the weekend? A nap and a next best?
I think that's the first German horse that's ever been tipped up on the.
It'll probably be the last as well.
On the podcast, Ronan Groome. Best of luck with that one on Sunday, Mike. Yes, nap. I said it from the word go. I think time scale will take a lot of beating in the Duchess of Cambridge. Yeah, listen, 3-1 looks a good price. 4 points win on that for me, Ronan. And a race we didn't mention is the Superlative, which is the Group 2 on Saturday at 3:10. I like a horse of Mark Johnson's here. Frankie Dettori is jocked up. He's 9-1 Kingzane. He interested me now. He's an expensive yearling. I think he cost something like 95,000, and was by a listed winner, Group 3 enlisted winner for Jim Bulger over 1 mile and 2, called Shreyas. Yeah, so I think very well bred horse and done it nicely on debut. He's only had one start, done it nicely on the all-weather at Kempton. I think staying trips, when I say staying trips, a mile and 2, I think would be suitable next year for the horse. Loads of scope, big colt. And I think he is a good price at 9-1. Kingzane each way for me. They'll have 1 point each way on that, Ronan Groome.
Excellent stuff. Only one for me. I like the preview in the Leopardstown card for the Irish field tomorrow, so I'll be able to go into better depth there. But I do like Ancient Spirit for Jessica Carrington. I think he's been rock solid this year. I think he can land the hat trick in the Mel Stakes. What could be a very interesting Mel Stakes with Zabil Prince possibly is coming over for Roger Berry and Colin Keane booked there. But I think Ancient Spirit is a more solid option perhaps there. But listen, best of luck. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks lads for joining us, and best of luck to everyone if you're having a bet. And we'll talk to you next week.